Marvel and DC Comics have both introduced audiences to some incredibly powerful characters over the years. In the physical sense, Marvel's strongest character is easily the Incredible Hulk. Though DC has some very strong individuals as well, Hulk is often compared to Doomsday due to their similar size and knack for destruction. Over the years, fans have debated as to who is actually the stronger between the two. Looking at several different key factors between them, it does seem as though it would be a close match. To look at some of those specific factors, here is our input on Doomsday versus Hulk and who would really win in a fight. 11 Enemy Power Level. Since Doomsday is one of DC's biggest bad boys, his enemies are going to be some of DC's greatest heroes. As such, Doomsday has taken out several members of the Justice League over the years, including an entire team of their members all at once. He has also defeated the likes of Wonder Woman, even with Superman assisting her. Of course, his biggest enemy has always been Superman, a hero powerful enough to best him in the past. Though the Hulk has defeated entire battalions of Marvel heroes all at once, DC's Justice League holds far greater firepower than Marvel's Avengers. Though Hulk's own enemies are still very powerful, they don't really compare to the strength of his allies. Therefore, Doomsday's enemies are a greater challenge for him than Hulk's, which means we've seen more power from Doomsday than we have from the angry green giant.
10. Main internal power.
Part of Doomsday's genetic makeup allows him to adapt to any and every challenge thrown at him. During his time on Krypton, Doomsday was constantly dying, only to be brought back even stronger than before. As a result, Doomsday cannot be killed the same way twice, which is a great advantage for those who feel they can exploit his weaknesses. Having said that, Doomsday can still be killed, although it will just be a matter of time before he returns once again, immune to the method that was used before. On top of this factor, Doomsday has an incredible amount of stamina, along with the usual super strength and speed. The combination of all of his powers makes him a very hard opponent to put down. In comparison, the Hulk doesn't really have this kind of skill on his side. If he battles a Doomsday who's died maybe 100 times, I don't think any amount of rage would help him.
9. Main external power.
Though Doomsday has similar powers to Hulk, Hulk's strengths are much more obvious to readers. Since his powers are tied to his emotions, his strength is simply much more noticeable to us. Being with Banner also allows the duo to operate better when it comes to their combat skills. Doomsday isn't really capable of showing emotion and typically operates at a much slower pace than Hulk. Furthermore, Hulk tends to be a much more goal-oriented character than Doomsday, who seems to only crave destruction and nothing else. 8. Allies for battle. For all the trouble the Hulk has either caused or been in over the years, his friends are typically always by his side, ready to back him up. Both Bruce Banner and the Hulk have accrued a large number of allies over the years, and some very powerful ones at that. Of course, there are the Avengers, but there's also Betty Ross, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and even some of the X-Men. Doomsday, on the other hand, is always depicted as a solo act who doesn't even work together with the villains of DC. Since there is nothing but destruction on his mind, obtaining allies are nearly impossible for him, which is why he has to operate by himself. Hence, Hulk undoubtedly wins when it comes to his allies, and there is no question about it. 7. Experience. Now, I know that Hulk was published well before Doomsday, but he still has far more experience than Doomsday could ever hope to have. While Doomsday's backstory puts him at several centuries old, he spent much of that time either dead or in captivity, further highlighting how he needs to lose to be able to win in the next few rounds. Thanks to Hulk's heroic nature at times, he has gone on to witness several different scientific phenomena. As a man of science himself, Bruce Banner experienced all sorts of scientific wonders which directly impacted his form and powers. Furthermore, Hulk has traveled the galaxy on several occasions, exposing himself to different cultures and all sorts of new wondrous things. Even without Banner's scientific mind, Hulk has experienced far more in his time as a character, and has a lot more knowledge in terms of battle tactics. It's actually unfair to pit this kind of experience against someone who only has violence in his mind. 6. Personality and intelligence. As mentioned previously, there's very little aside from destruction on Doomsday's mind, essentially making him a brainless monster. Because of this, there is very little room for a personality of any sort within the confines of his head, which means figuring him out will not be a problem at all. Hulk, however, is the total opposite because of his alter ego, Bruce Banner. The scientist constantly struggles with the beast inside him, making him much more intriguing, and it also adds a lot of depth to the characters. Furthermore, Hulk's time with Banner's mind or Dr. Green's personality makes for an interesting shift in the typical ways Hulk is depicted. Recently, he has been seen with some intelligence of his own, though still separate from Banner, which is quite interesting in terms of how it can translate to enhanced combat abilities. Unfortunately for Doomsday, there is simply nothing there in terms of personality for him to bring to the table, so he'll most definitely be humiliated by his opponent without fail.
5. Strength.
Any fan of the Hulk from the comics will know that his powers and strength are tied to his emotions. Therefore, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, and it couldn't get any simpler than this. In Hulk's many years of publication, he has certainly been very angry at times, which has led to some brutal displays of strength. However, no time will ever be greater than during the World War Hulk storyline. After Hulk returned to Earth following the events of Planet Hulk, he set his sights on the former allies who betrayed him. In his attack, Hulk unintentionally summoned many other nearby Marvel characters as they tried to stop him. Of course, Hulk only grew angrier, eventually to the point where he leveled half of Manhattan with a single step, which is a lot more impressive than anything we've seen the entire MCU accomplish. Yes, Hulk was so angry that it only took a single step for him to nearly destroy an entire city. Considering the damage done, it is frightening to imagine what would happen if he really let loose and increased his rage with time. Now, if we compare him to Doomsday, I'd even go as far as to say that Hulk's base strength may not match his opponent in the beginning. However, I feel he'd easily surpass Doomsday after maybe a minute of fighting. With the capacity to grow without any limits, there's no way for Doomsday to outshine the angry green giant in this regard.
4. Equipment.
For all the damage the two characters have dealt over the years, neither has relied on any external source of power to do so. Both Doomsday and the Hulk are all about raw strength, which is why they are so feared in the first place. Now, technically speaking, the two will utilize equipment in almost all their fights, but we need to keep in mind that said equipment is usually nearby debris from something they have just destroyed, like large rocks or cars, or even chunks from a building. I feel I should point out the fact that Bruce Banner has been in the Hulk Buster outfit in Avengers Infinity War, but that was only because he could not turn into the Hulk. When it all boils down to the main deal, both these characters usually rely on their own raw power to accomplish their goals, thus landing them in a tie in regards to equipment.
3. Durability.
The key factor to consider when you are in a fight that is going to last a long time will have to be the durability of your character. Once again, Doomsday's unique genetic makeup has definitely given him an advantage over the years. Because of this, he can't truly die, he can only come back much stronger than before, which would mean his durability would also increase with each defeat. Having said that, this very same logic can be stated for the Hulk as well. Over the years of comic book history, many have tried and even succeeded at times to kill the Hulk, but he always finds a way to come back no matter what. Sometimes it is as a different personality, and the other times he just simply comes back like the Terminator, only angrier and stronger. Considering how both of these characters have died more than once, it is apparent that each one of them is just as hard to keep down as the other. In the long run, I'd consider this as a tie, but if we were to take them battling right from the very first match and Doomsday is fresh without any previous deaths, then I'd say the Hulk would beat him in durability since his aspect is real-time and does not require him to lose his life.
2. Biggest achievement.
While leveling a city with a single step is certainly impressive, it still doesn't quite compare to actually killing Superman with your bare hands. For years and years, Superman was easily the most powerful character in all of the DC universe, and arguably all of the other comics as well. Therefore, when Doomsday arrived and actually killed the Man of Steel himself, the entire world, and by this I mean the real one, was totally shocked by what they had just witnessed. Killing Superman is no easy feat, and though it cost Doomsday one of his many lives in the process, he still managed to pull it off, which is technically a victory for him because he will still come back from this encounter. Nobody would have believed this, because to them, Superman was unbeatable, and also one of the good guys, so if not anything else, then at least the plot armor should have saved Kal-El from this fate. That was not the case though, and it actually made the idea of a superhero more leveled. Since this event had such an impact on the real world itself, Doomsday's actions mark an incredible moment in all of comic book history. Furthermore, the same thing cannot be said for any of the Hulk's actions. even if you consider feats such as stopping the giant Leviathan in the first Avengers film with just one punch. Therefore, Doomsday is easily the winner in this regard.
1. Strategic combat.
We've already discussed how the Hulk has the advantage of being merged with Bruce Banner's intelligence, which would make him the easy winner here. Strategy will be the deciding factor between both these fighters, and since Doomsday has to rely on getting beaten over and over again, it's not like he'll have a lot to do against the Hulk during their first few battles. The Hulk will know that he gets stronger with the increasing duration of the battle, so he just has to stall for as long as he can till he's powerful enough to smash Doomsday to bits. Doomsday, on the other hand, will just swing with all his might and zero brain cells, meaning he never really stood a chance against the angry green giant. Sure, he would definitely give him a hard time, but since this is a battle of wits, Hulk will win thanks to Bruce Banner's smart thinking. If you think about it, even the smart Hulk from the MCU would be able to get the job done, as he is basically Banner with Hulk strength, although he would definitely not have the same rage factor, which would in turn increase his own power levels. Long story short, this is going Hulk's way by a massive margin.
Conclusion.
Killing Superman alone is not enough to declare the strongest being out there, even though it's a great trophy to show off. Looking at several different key factors, it is apparent that the Hulk could very easily match Doomsday if not overpower him altogether, especially if it's their first ever fight. Because of this, Hulk can easily be considered the strongest comic character around, at least in the physical sense. Furthermore, his constant inner struggle makes for a much more intriguing character than Doomsday, which can be used to argue the fact that it makes Banner even stronger. Hence, Hulk's history, personality, and raw power solidify his place above Doomsday, making him the obvious winner between the two. But as I said before, if Doomsday has died several times before, then he will definitely make it a very close encounter for the angry green giant. Like, share, and subscribe if you like these topics and want me to cover more of them. Feel free to share some suggestions in the comments below. Okay then, I'll see you soon.